Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I want to start off here in my map room because I want to update the map because a lot of the part above the farm is missing. This whole area does not exist anymore, and I also want to expand the map to hold that entire area, so I'm going to do that really quick and I'll be right back. That is much better, and now on to new stuff. I want to remodel a couple of my buildings to start off with, and namely the tower in front of my trading hall that has the villager breeder in it and the hangar a little bit. I'm not going to do a lot of changes to the hangar, but the little tower out front is going to change a lot because I think it looks really bad out there and I just want to make it look much better. So I'm just going to be adding some texturing, changing up the build scheme a little bit at the bottom, but mainly it's going to be the same build. It's just going to be slightly better in a lot of ways. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll show you the finished result. With the tower now complete, I think it looks much better. I just added a small awning right here, added some texturing here and made it more rounded with the trapdoors here and the pillars here. And then I also added a little bit of texturing to the roof with the spruce logs that fit really well with the dark oak. And then I also put in some stairs and some slabs to just add different heights all around the build, and I think that that makes it look so much better. It's a lot less plain, and there's also a lantern on top just to make it glow at night, so it looks much better. It looks like an actual build now instead of just something I threw together last minute, which is kind of what it was before. And now onto the hangar. The only thing that I really want to fix on this is the door, because it just looks kind of boring compared to this build and this build. And then I think I might even fix this up a little bit. I might just add a few windows. But right now I want to work on this hangar door because it just looks bland compared to everything else. To change up the hangar door, I decided to use walls instead of full blocks because it gives it much better texture, and then I also have blocks on the backside here at the top so that each one of these has their full wall form where it sticks out a little bit and then comes back in where they connect to give it more of a hangar door texture. And then I also used a gradient again just to give it a little bit more depth to make it look like those middle ones are maybe a little bit farther back than the ones at the end, to kind of give it those three different sections that all slide together to make the whole door close. And that's kind of what I was going for, and I think this looks much better than it did before with just that small change to the door. I also changed this whole border to be much thicker so that it looks more full and kind of holds its own against the door. And with that small change, I'm much more happy with the hangar and how it looks overall. And the next thing I'm going to move on to is the iron farm right here. So I just want to add in some windows in this top part. I don't think I'm going to do the bottom part because I don't think the bottom really needs it because it's got a little bit more texture. I may add a little bit more of a base around here with some more cherry wood that kind of sticks out, or maybe I'll even do some cherry trap doors around here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do exactly yet, but I definitely know I'm going to do windows at the top with some pink glass panes. So I'm going to get started on that, and I'll show you guys what the new build looks like when it's done. I got those windows installed, and I also put in these slabs here, and I decided that that was probably the best option because it just grounds the build a little bit more. And I think that overall this also looks a lot better than it did before. Even with just those small changes, it just adds a little bit more depth to the build and just makes it a little bit more of a build than just a flat wall, while also keeping the properties that it needs to have an iron farm inside of it so nothing can spawn on it still. The next thing I want to do is I want to try a very complex build right in this area, just a small little house that has a lot of detail instead of what I'm used to, which is much larger builds that have a decent amount of detail but not a ton. I want to try a small build with a lot of detail. So I'm going to start working on that right here. It's going to be a lot of cherry wood and maybe some other woods. I don't think I'm going to really be using much stone at all in this of any kind, but I'm just going to start doing a basic template and I'll show you guys once I get started. I think that I've got a pretty good start here with the birch and the cherry wood, and I got a couple bushes installed. I need to add in some flowers on top of here, but I think that this base is looking very nice. Now I just need to get more blocks so that I can finish off the rest of this build, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. The tiny house is now complete and I think it is looking super cool. It's got all kinds of texturing on it with different layers, and there's a little awning over the door with a little path, pink petals, and moss carpet layered around to just add some texture to the ground. Then you come in here and there's nothing really in here at all, but then you can come out here to the small farm, or you can come up to here where there's a little tree, and up here is just a nice little balcony where you can look out, and it has the different roofs, and there's a chimney up there. And if you come around to the back, there's the little flower garden right here with a window and another window to match on this side with a few more trees. And then up here there is a little hidden tree. You can barely see it unless you're over here, but there is the little other tree. And I think that it just has so many small details. This is definitely the smallest and most detailed thing I've ever built, and I'm really loving it. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I can't wait to try more builds like this and hopefully get bigger with them as I go, so that I can get more experience with small textured buildings. But this was definitely a challenge for me. This was way out of my comfort zone to build something like this, but I think it turned out pretty cool, and I cannot wait to do more builds like it. The last thing that I want to clean up a little bit is my nether portal. I kind of just left it as the nether portal ruins with the netherrack around it, and there's some stone still, and I just want to clean it up and make it look like a super cool portal to go with the rest of the builds. So that's what I'm going to do next. I decided to keep the portal as a ruined portal kind of look, and I think that I achieved that very well with all the different stone-like blocks, some of them in more disrepair than others, looking like it's kind of crumbling with the stairs and slabs all put in place, and I think that it's looking really good. I also got rid of all the netherrack because I just hate how netherrack looks, and I think that that made it look a lot better too. Now that I've fixed up a whole bunch of this smaller part of my base, I'm really liking how it looks now. Everything looks finished and clean, and it looks like I tried on all the different builds, and I'm really happy with how they all turned out. With all that finished, this is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.